Welcome to Varsity. I'm Bob Przybylo. Joining me today, as always, is Scott Wright. And once again, today we're going to look back at Week 5, look ahead to Week 6, let you guys know where we're going to be at, and give you our locks of the week. Well, Scott, let's start with Week 5. A lot of interesting things happened. What stood out the most to you?
You know, even though it was a loss, the Putnam City North performance was something that I was really impressed with. I didn't know what to think of this team through the first 2 weeks of the season. I saw them at Mustang. They looked a little out of sync. Then they had a win over PC West a game you expected them to win. And they've come back with two really good performances, beat Edmond Memorial and go to overtime with Midwest City, which is a really good team.
Yeah, just another case of Bomber magic in that one. You know, what stood out to me in Week 5 is someone that we don't get to see all that often. In fact, we only saw him once during the summer. That is at Atoka with quarterback LT Pfaff. Pfaff needed 118 yards to set the state passing record, and he threw for 392 yards and 4 touchdowns. He's not getting a lot of looks. He's 5'10", 152 pounds, but this was his night. And I just want to say congratulations to Pfaff. You know, it's tough to throw for more than 9,000 yards in a career, and he stayed healthy. And this was his moment, and I'm glad he was able to get the recognition that he so rightfully deserves. All right, Scott, moving on. We are now past the midway point of the season. What are you looking for this week?
You know, a game that really stands out is that Millwood-Jones game. It's a game we've been looking to for a while. That's kind of a budding rivalry between those two teams. Millwood knows that they're going to have a couple of district tests down the way with teams like Lexington, maybe Crooked Oak now. But this is the game that has really stuck out on that Millwood schedule once you got past those first 3 weeks. And so I think it's going to be a really exciting game. We'll see what this team can do in a game that really has a lot of meaning beyond pride.
You know, you talk about the pride being a lot in that one. The game I'm looking at, this is a game that when this season started, we weren't looking at whatsoever when Norman goes to Southmore on Friday. The Tigers have just been incredible throughout these first 5 weeks. They're 5-0. Their defense has been lights out. Southmore, they've struggled at times, but they're 4-1. It looks like they're going to be playing without quarterback Kendall Thompson for one more week, and I'm very interested to see how that will play a role into Friday night's matchup. Well, Scott, what about your lock of the week?
Well, I'm going a little off the board, going to a non-district game here in the middle of district season. I like Cashion to beat Watonga this week. It's a really interesting game. You know, the 17 districts that we've got now have kind of created some of these interesting matchups throughout the district season. I was very impressed with Cashion when I saw them over the summer when they beat Millwood in 7-on-7. Jeremy Seaton is a really good athlete and a really good quarterback. I like them to go win that game this week.
And I'm going to stick with Greg Nation's Tigers, and I'm going to pick Norman over Southmore. I just feel this team is ready for this moment. You know, this is the biggest game of the season for them. You don't know if they're going to freeze up on the big stage or if they're going to embrace this opportunity. I think these kids are ready. I think Donovan Roberts has a huge game, and Norman proves once and for all that they are for real for this season. And Scott, where are you going to be this week?
Well, on Thursday, I'll be taking in a really good game where I think it's going to be a pretty exciting game, Edmond North and Putnam City. Friday, I get a little 4A volleyball action early in the day. Friday night, that's a surprise. You're going to have to wait till October 15th to find out where I'm going to be this Friday. It's a little confusing, but just trust me, it's going to be good. And then Saturday, of course, more volleyball out in Chickasha. Class 4A championship will be decided.
You'll be covering the volleyball. As for me, I will be hitting softball all week. On Thursday, I'll be softball in the morning and the afternoon before heading to Wantland Stadium for Memorial and Choctaw. Friday, once again, all day softball before heading to Heritage Hall when the racers come into town. And then Saturday, well, we got 5 state championships of softball to be decided, and I will be there at ASA Hall of Fame Stadium. Well, Scott, we appreciate you joining us as always. That's all the time we have for this week. But check us out every day at newsok.com/varsity for the best high school coverage anywhere.